Well, on a day when we saw the BJP releasing its manifesto about a week after the Congress did so, joining us on NDTV this evening is senior Congress leader and someone who's fighting the parliament elections from South Mumbai, Milind Deora, joining us straight from Mumbai today. Milind, your first thoughts on, the BJP's promises, because what's different about their manifesto from yours is that it's also, in a sense, a report card of their performance of the last 5 years. Is there any one thing that really that jumped out at you in their manifesto today?
Well, firstly, I have to be very honest with you. I haven't had the time to see their manifesto or to look at their manifesto online. But I hear that it's focused a lot on emotive issues rather than substantive issues. If they've given a report card, as you say they have, as to what they've done over the last 5 years, I think the people of India deserve to know why jobs weren't created, why the economy hasn't been as great as it was promised to be in spite of massive tailwinds of a majority government, of low oil prices, of low interest rates, and I think whether it's demonetization, whether it's faulty implementation of GST, I think this government has failed on many accounts with regards to the economy, and I hope that through their manifesto they keep the debate focused on developmental issues and not emotive ones, because if it's the latter, it clearly indicates that they failed on focusing on developmental issues, and therefore they're trying to distract voters in the electorate away towards more emotive issues.
Are you counting national security as an emotive issue as well? Because the first thing that they're talking about in their manifesto is about security, a zero tolerance towards terrorism, etc. That's obviously the main thing that they're focusing on. Do you see that as an emotive issue or something that actually I think a lot of people would be interested in?
Hello.
Milind, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Sorry, I was saying that do you consider national security as an emotive issue as well, since that's something they've put right on top of their manifesto?
I think national security is an important issue, but I heard you at saying zero tolerance and then you got cut off. If they're promising zero tolerance, why did it take 450 or more Jawans who got killed with cross-border terrorism in 5 years for them to achieve and reach a view that they practice zero tolerance? On the eve of elections, suddenly they're talking about zero tolerance. For the last 5 years, as I said, almost over 450 Jawans have been massacred by Pakistan under their watch. What were they doing about it all these 5 years? On the eve of election, you talk about zero tolerance. What has their policy been with regards to Pakistan? The Manmohan Singh government for 10 years chose not to visit Pakistan until the perpetrators of 26/11 are brought to justice. Narendra Modi, in his first year after becoming Prime Minister, departed from that policy view, which was to isolate Pakistan internationally, and immediately went and wished Nawaz Sharif. So I think on national security, today if I look at the way the armed forces are being politicized and we are allowing politics to enter the armed forces, I think it's the worst way to reduce national security, and it harms our national security. The very fact that India and Pakistan were both born on the same year in 1947, but in Pakistan there have been several coups staged by the army against the civilian government, and in India it's never happened even once, is because the Congress party for 70 years kept the armed forces away from politics. Today the armed forces are being politicized by the BJP and this government. I think that's unfortunate.
Finally, Milind, let's talk about your own nomination today. You went to file your nomination papers today. Mumbai is going to be a very interesting battle. Tell us about, what are the key issues that, you think people are confronting there? What is this election going to be about for Mumbaikars, and especially your constituency, which is infamous for just not getting up and coming out to vote?
Look, in 2014, the people of Mumbai were, what would I say? They were exuberant about voting for Narendra Modi. And in doing so, they ignored their candidate. They ignored who the candidate was, which party he or she belonged to. People who despise a party like Shiv Sena went out and voted for them. People who despise a party like Shiv Sena went out and ignored who the candidate was, what his criminal record was. And this time, I think the people of Mumbai will ask questions. They will ask, what has the MP done for them in the last 5 years? Who is the MP? I've never met the MP. What is the MP's criminal record? Are there criminal cases filed against that MP? What does that MP stand for? What does his party stand for? There's a big difference even between Shiv Sena and BJP. A voter of, let's say there's somebody who's very infatuated by BJP and loves Narendra Modi. He is not excited about voting for Shiv Sena. He knows Shiv Sena is, if he's a trader, he knows Shiv Sena is anti-business. They're anti the trader community. That Shiv Sena discriminates on linguistic lines, which language you speak. So there are local issues at play as well in Mumbai, very much so. And I think that this time each of the constituencies, the candidates of the Congress and NCP are good candidates. They know the areas well. They have more recall value from the electorate than the sitting MPs do. Today in Mumbai, if you ask the average Mumbaiker to name 2 or 3 out of 6 MPs, they don't know their names. They knew who the MPs were 5 years ago. And that shows you how badly Mumbai has lost its voice in New Delhi and in the rest of the country.
But do you think you're going to be able to convince people to come out in larger numbers and vote and just keep that apathy aside?
I think that is something which, in the last election all over Mumbai, the turnout increased from 40% to 50%. I'm not sure if that turnout will be there now. But I always hope for a good turnout. I always think it's good for people to exercise their franchise. But many people who were supporters of Narendra Modi don't want to come out and vote. The trader community, the business community who came out in large numbers to vote for Narendra Modi are no longer excited to come out and cast their vote. They don't feel the need to say, let me come out and vote for this person or for this government. And if they're comparing the candidates between a Shiv Sena candidate who has criminal cases against him, between, let's say, someone like me in South Mumbai, since you asked about South Mumbai, who has a clean record, I do believe people will look at a good candidate and will understand that I need a good candidate who can represent me, raise my voice, be accessible to me in parliament. Because ultimately, look, governance in India, the 3 pillars of democracy are the executive, judiciary and legislature. And having a strong legislature where you have good quality MPs who are educated, who have clean backgrounds, who don't have criminal cases against them is very, very important. And people understand that.
Well,
and I'm sure the voters of Mumbai will keep that in mind when coming out.
I think it's also interesting that you admit that there are many people who have been traditional supporters of the BJP who may not come out and vote at all, who may choose to stay at home instead. And maybe that's a point of reflection for the opposition about why they haven't been able to sort of convert them to become their followers instead. But Milind Deora, all the very best to you in your campaign. Thanks for joining us on NDTV today. Thank you.